o'clock, baby.
That's it. We are on and popping.
Let me.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of CMCT. Change your mind, change your thinking. Yeah, we're gonna have I can't really say a great show tonight, but we're gonna have a show tonight, and I know a lot of you are actually egging for this show because of what's been going on in the atmosphere of the world. But definitely, welcome, because you can be anywhere else, but you're here with us tonight.
Yes.
I am your host, Troy Skinner, and next to me is the man with the plan, my co-host,
Antonio Dean.
Yes, the one
What's
and
up,
only.
everybody?
The one and only. Thank you, Antonio. So, yeah, guys, if you don't already know what tonight's topic is, we did a little bit of
question.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sitting right here. For some of you guys, you were very early on wanting to see this show and to be a part of it. Hopefully, we'll have some interaction from you, the listeners, our audience. But before we go into that, just want to give a big shout out to Ching_Claudia. Thank you so much for your donation. Thank you for looking out for us and wanting to help us in regards to keeping the lights on, as Antonio always says. We are greatly appreciative, and we thank all of you out there who follow us and who continue to be a part of our show. We can't do this show without you guys. So Ching_Claudia. I'm not sure if Ching is your first name, maybe it's your last name, but Claudia might be your name. But you just missed me saying thank you so much for your donation to us. We are greatly appreciative to anyone who takes the time out and the energy to help support us.
Yes.
Very grateful because it did help. How you doing, Moikia? We see all our regulars coming in. We're going to get started. We're going to move really quick tonight because I'm doing everything I can not to fall apart. But we're definitely going to go in deep tonight because a lot of people are being affected by this. It just seems like, hey, cuz, what's going on, cuz? Just my cousin, we just saw her on Thursday and Friday. It was great spending time with you. I love you. I hope you're doing okay. So tonight's topic is about loss and grieving. It's a very personal episode tonight. Not just for me, but for Antonio as well. Antonio lost someone, two people actually, earlier this year, if I remember.
Correct.
That were very dear to his heart and very special to him. So it's something going on. A lot of people, we're losing people. And, I lost my brother last year in June. So I always remember he died almost 2 weeks before my birthday. Yeah, I know, cuz, but it has to be done. We're going to see about finding a way to help people who may not be as strong as us in regards to moving forward. There may be someone who's listening tonight where you just lost someone, and hey, Lady Muse, you just lost someone, and maybe you want to talk about it. This is what this forum is about. That's what we do here. You can chime in at any time. It's not that we're going to do our opening conversation tonight. We're just going to go right on in. And if you feel like crying, cry. If you want to come in and join the show, you can do that just by requesting to come in. And if you want to talk maybe about someone who you've just lost who is special to you.
Yeah, share some good stories about about them and celebrate life, because you definitely want to celebrate the life of these people and not, you don't want to sit on the fact that they're no longer with you. You want to celebrate their life and, what the hell is the word that I'm looking for? Not promote, but, you want to relish in their essence. Who they were and what they meant to you and what they meant to others.
Yeah. What's going on, Alpha Muscles? Yeah, Janessa, this is actually a perfect time for this topic during the holidays. Yeah, it is. Um, you know, I've been in such a daze in the past couple of days, actually. I lost two people who were acquainted to me through blood and also through a long-term friendship. But then I also lost some recording artists that meant a lot to me. If you know anything about me, I'm very big on music. And, you know, Irene Cara died Saturday last week. And then no sooner than an hour that went by, my mom knocks on the door and says that my grandmother died. So that was a double whammy. And then as the week went on, you know, you're getting ready to go and do this thing where you're about to say goodbye to your grandmother, and you know, you're listening to songs of one of your favorite artists, and then I found out that Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac died, and she passed away, and then no sooner 20 minutes. I found out that one of my best friends of 38 years died. He was 53. He was 2 months before me, as far as older. He was older by 2 months. And so, grandma. So, my grandma didn't make it. She was 89. She was supposed to be making it to her 89th birthday on the 23rd.
Yeah.
I think my auntie and Monica, you guys are still going to celebrate irregardless, right? So, yeah. Hey, what's going on? The holidays have never been the same for me. I lost my grandma 1 year and my little brother the next. Thank you for this, guys. Yeah, so it was opposite for you, Janessa. It was opposite for me. It's like, yeah, you know. Good. So, yeah, you guys celebrate that. I think
Definitely
supposed
celebrate.
to be bringing mommy through to let us stay and celebrate. I'm not big on holidays, so.
Yeah.
And then more than likely, I'm going to be going to my friends.
New York, right?
Yeah, New York next week.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully next week. I mean, sometimes, you know, people take care of their funeral arrangements in 2 weeks or 3. So
It's normal in African culture to take a good month or two.
A month or two.
Because they celebrate, you know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of not parade the person around. I didn't want to put it that way.
Right,
but,
right, yeah.
You know, they all take their time celebrating that person and preparing their body because that was their vessel, and you know they want to treat it with honor and respect and everything. A lot of different sects of the African culture are that way.
Yeah. So, you know, for us, words are really big. I called him right when he's moisturizing.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Look, we can't be ashy out here. Man.
No, we can't be.
That would be disgraceful.
So words are big. So the definition of grieving
Did you already have it pulled up?
or grief, what does that mean?
Let's get
I know that I'm going through a severe amount of grief. You know, there's these days where, you know, when you lose someone, I think last night after I left you, I got lost. After I left you,
I could see that.
Yeah.
It was pretty abrupt. You know?
I got lost. I couldn't find my way home. I'm not sure, Moika. I'll let you know for sure, but I think it's maybe for the holiday, you know, Christmas time. I'm not sure for sure. You know, it's always between your mom and her and my mom. So, so I got lost, and I know that I'm in a state of grief, pretty much. But the definition of grief.
Oh, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
You got it or you want?
I got it, brother. Yeah. Grief is deep sorrow, especially that caused by someone's death. So the example is she was overcome with grief. Okay.
Let's see. I know they got Merriam-Webster. No? Why they do this every damn time?
Yeah.
We got Wikipedia, and then we'll do. Oh shit! I think the DoorDash.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Grief is a deep and poignant distress caused by or as if by bereavement. Grief is a cause of such suffering. So the first one, deep and poignant distress caused by or as if by bereavement, his grief over his son's death. Okay, grief, a cause of such suffering. So when we get that news, whatever the news is, thank you, Janessa. We get that news, and it's a shock. My grandmother, we knew that her time was near, and we knew that it was a matter of time. And so I think when it's like that, you have a good amount of time in which to set your mind right. So when it comes, it's like, okay, the news comes, but still, it's still tough to deal with because you're losing someone who you care about and who you love. My grandmother was very big on family, so we her homegoing was very done well. It was done very well, and it was a good time to see family and to be able to express all of that. Now, on the other hand, when younger people pass, which has been happening a lot lately, it's a shock, and I think that type of grief is tough to deal with because it's unexpected, and we don't know how to digest it well because it's always a conversation of I just spoke to that person. I just spoke to that person. And then Stephen Tingus died yesterday or night before. And he was very big in the entertainment industry. He was a handicapped actor, and he was an advocate for handicapped actors. And that was tough too because Stephen never let anybody see that his handicap or his handicap or his adversity stopped him from living his dream. I admired him so fucking much because he never let anything stop him from being an actor, which it's an acting coach and someone who's an actor himself. There's always so many different excuses from people who are able-bodied on why they can't succeed or why they can't live their dream. And this man would be in that chair at events, and he would be on set, and he never complained. And if anything, he was like, you guys need to hire more handicapped actors, truly handicapped. Like, why hire someone who was able-bodied to play a role that a handicapped person could play? And so, shout out to Steven because he affected so many people, and it was a shock because Saturday he was at a red carpet event, and he was there, and everyone said that he was okay, and he was excited, and he talked about the future, and so it was. That was another thing. It's just like, and it's just so many people on my timeline who are suffering. So if you're out there and you've just lost someone, please just join in with us and talk about what you're going through, and maybe this stream tonight can help you a little bit because it's already helping me because I haven't really been crying much. I'm always like that when it comes to losing people. I'm very big on making sure that everybody else is okay. And so, Stephen, we will never forget you. And a shout out to anybody that's worked with him. I know Danny Royce is a really good friend of his. Joan Moten, I know you're in the queue. I know you know him. You've worked with him. Marcus, Marcus Ham hired him in his last project. That you guys, they did a great memorial for him on Facebook today.
Talking about Steven?
Yes, and Marcus hired him, man. Marcus, you beat me to it, man, because I was planning on getting him in something eventually, but you beat me to him. So Thank you, cousin. It's okay. We got you. You have this, and you can let it all out. Yeah, yeah. Love you too. Love you too, Janessa. So, with the burial of my grandma, and then coming home, and then now knowing that I gotta go and say goodbye to my friend. It's. I think when it's a shock like that, when these deaths are a shock, it affects us in ways that we don't realize we're really affected. And dealing with that, I guess I want to speak on that for a hot minute. Y'all gotta forgive us. Antonio got us some food.
Yeah, listen,
I
you know what I'm
haven't eaten, and he
saying?
hasn't eaten, so this is going to be a crying food fest for me. But it's all good. Um, when you're dealing with the shock, knowing someone is going to pass, I guess some people would be like, well, it doesn't make a difference. It does. It does. I was able to, I saw my grandma on Mother's Day, and told her I loved her and everything. I'm very big on the last day you see people is like the first day. Nothing changes, and you get to say goodbye to people by always remembering that you're saying I love you, and that's genuine. I think there's a lot of people who, throughout the years, I've known that were very regretful that they never said everything they wanted to say to their loved one and or friend, or they held grudges. And we had a show about grudges just recently. I, anyone that's left, and it's so odd. The Mother's Day of last year. Thank you, brother. The Mother's Day of last year. Was the last time I saw my brother who passed last year. The Mother's Day of this year was the last time I saw my grandmother. So obviously Mother's Day is going to be something that I remember, and it's going to be tough, but especially for my mom, because that was the last time she saw both of them as well.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So,
Not bad.
hey auntie, how you doing? Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when it's a shock, it's like a ton of bricks. It hits you, and you don't know how to respond to it because you're like, is this real? Is this real? What about you? How was that for you earlier this year? Because I remember when you told me, and I was just like, oh man,
Well, man, I went up there and excuse me, went up there and just I focused on the celebration of life and helping out the family members who survived her, and just mustering and rallying, good positive energy and positive thoughts and getting everyone back on the wagon to continue in life, whether that be in her honor or just with her and thoughts and whatever it was that was going to energize everyone to continue on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my family members said, this can't be the only time we see each other, because the whole family was together, and it was peaceful. And
that shouldn't be the only reason.
No, not at all.
That brings everyone together is death.
Yeah, not at all. But it was good for everyone to see each other though, and so I still struggle processing my baby brother's death. Yeah, I know. I saw that just recently. Janessa. Yeah. I think it can be a long time for people to overcome that grief, primarily because there's always something that reminds us of those people that we love. You know what I mean? They never leave us. They're always with us. And that's the whole thing of, to me, life. The life that we have is how we honor them by living. Because it gets so dark sometimes.
And you got to carry on their, carry on their legacy through tradition and, look at the songs that they loved and, the movies that they enjoyed and, just all of those different things, man. You got to sit with those and share them with others,
Mm-hmm.
Don't just let it be a thing that where you sit and brood again more than you celebrate. You know, one of the things that my cousin Michael, excuse me, shout out to him. He was my first producer, but one of the things that he does with his kids, and I think I shared this before, but they lost their mother when they were about, 5 and 6 or something, just really young. You know, she passed to, I want to say she passed to lupus. It was either lupus or some other form of cancer, but, and they were all very close to their grandmother, which was her mother. And once, throughout the year, they don't really celebrate holidays. They're like us, but they celebrate their grandmother's birthday and their mother's birthday as holidays for them, So they got traditions where they go and have whatever, whatever the different favorite foods were of that person and all of that, So there are many different ways for you to celebrate a person's life and your relationship with them while they were in the physical realm with you,
Yeah. There's things that will always remind us. At my grandmama's funeral, I spoke about her coconut cake. That's the one. Mm-hmm. That's one of the memories I have of her. She would make me a whole cake. I didn't get to mention that, guys, but she would make me a whole cake.
Did the whole cake for you?
Yeah, and be like, don't give none to your mom, don't give none to nobody. It's all for you. And I would take that thing on the plane, man, and definitely give people their flowers while they are here as well. Yeah, I mean, listen, and that's the whole thing, Lay. It's a thing of like the last time I spoke to Mark, it's been the people that we love sometimes have such a profound effect. My good close friend Mark, he affected so many people. He had a show called In the Paint, where it was a sports show where he would talk about...
Oh, that was him.
That was him. Yeah. And they did something special night before last. Sunday night, they did something special. And I missed it because it went to... I wasn't on Facebook at that time, but they sent me a little link, and I saw it on YouTube, and I listened to it. It was like 2 hours of them talking about him and everything. And then prior to that... the other show, that was In the Paint did that last week. They did that the next day after his death. They did that. And they did like almost 4 hours just talking about him online. And I was able to call in and talk about, different things. I was a mess. But you're right about that. The things they left behind and what we remember about them is very important.
Memories.
That's why God gave us those, because those things are what help us to... she said it used to drive. Yeah, nobody better not touch you. And that. Yeah, and your dad's cake too. Yeah. I mean, cake was, that's our thing. Cake.
But the thoughts and the memories are, it's another dimension in our life that we deal with, and you got to use them effectively.
Mm-hmm. You believe we should go? Because what I do a lot of times is, I am a big crier because I'm very connected emotionally. Music has always been my thing, and Mark took me to my first Prince concert, and it was funny because, at the memorial they had on Facebook about him, they were talking about that. That brother was. He would come in and back up your conversation. If you was talking to someone's talking crazy to you, he'd back up you, and because he was a very just and very fair man, and was very big about the black community, very big. That's why we got along for so long, and so we have all of that archived. There's pictures that one of my cousins had been sending that I hadn't seen in years, and my grandmama had all these photos and stuff. And so those pictures are things that will always make me remember her as well.
They were right on time.
Yeah, right on time. So, she did. She made it from scratch. She hated box cake mix. Yes, she did. It was good, man. I don't think I'll ever have it again, but, it was what it was, and it was mine to remember. And for those who got it, they were blessed. All right, so... we have an idea of what grief is. Grief, everyone knows what loss is. Loss is the essence of losing something. Losing something. And when we lose a loved one or a friend, it's very painful. But we're going to get the direct definition of it. Um, what is loss? Okay.
Real quick. Throw that open. Did he deal with Wikipedia or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Loss. Well, let's go for the second definition because that's more up the line of what we're looking for. The act of or fact of being unable to keep or maintain something or someone. And so that's what I'm saying, like the difference between um, knowing that someone is going to be leaving us compared to someone who we lose and we have no idea that it was coming. You know, it's a shock. It's a shock. And I'm telling you guys, how many of you out there are seeing that on your, if you are on Facebook or Instagram, so many people we know are losing people, even young people. And then if this is something that's very interesting, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but if you go to Google and you type in died suddenly, it's going to blow your mind. I had someone do this the other day. Type in died suddenly in Google. It has to be Google because Bing and all these other search engines won't do it. But if you go to Google and just type in died suddenly, it's going to blow your mind. We are losing a lot of people, and we're losing a lot of young people as well. So how many of you out there, you know, have lost someone this year or?
My brother Peterson, he's a twin or almost a triplet. I forget how many of y'all it is, but we were in the military together. He says, speaking of loss and grief, just had a friend pass last night. You know, rest in peace to your friend, man. Peterson's a good dude. Him and all his brothers and their sisters.
God bless you and the family. We'll keep you guys in prayer. How old was your friend, Peterson?
He may have left the chat.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he bounced, but
Welcome back, Joan. Joan, I know you've had a tough year. You want to elaborate on what you've been going through? Because I think everybody that's been there for me, you know, when you post stuff like that, I never post, you know, personal stuff like that. Like I have a big family, but I'm very protective of my family. So, when I posted about my grandmother, it was like, okay, well, I know a lot of people who know me who knew my grandmother, so that's why I kind of did it because I've never been somebody who just picks up the phone and calls someone and say, well, you know, so and so died. That's not me. You know, a lot of times, unless it comes up in conversation, that's usually how that works. Janessa says, I've been hiding the latter of the year. My heart can't take this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it just, somebody in boxing died today. Did you hear about that?
I did.
Yeah, one of the all-time favorite refs. He passed. It's tough, man. It's like so many people are leaving us. And so for you guys out there who are, you know, that's bothering you tremendously because it's been bothering me tremendously. I tend to handle it by submerging myself in work if I can. Last night I couldn't really focus. I was doing the best that I could, and that's why I got lost. I was actually on the phone with one of my aunts, and after that I was like, "Where am I?" Then one of my other good friends, Michelle, she called, and I was like, "I gotta hang up with you. You know, I'm lost."
Gotta find my way back.
And you know, the odd part of it, bro, I had my navigation on, and I was still lost. I was literally coming right back here. You know, my aunt, she said, "I'm sending you some change. Go ahead and buy you some ice cream."
There ain't no damn ice cream out here after no 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's love. But.
And I said, "Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna go get some." And then I got lost.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, let me go home." And I punched this number, and so I was headed back. I said, "This is not the way home." And I was talking to Michelle. I said, "Michelle, hold on, I missed the ramp." I didn't know what was going on. I was totally, and I knew I just wanted to go home and lay under the covers. Oh, and then Janessa and Daphne had called me, And I told them, I was like, I can't talk right now. I said, I just want to go home and lay under the covers. So, you know, once you're out of all of this, you just have to um, thank everybody who was there in any capacity that you can, you know. And let me ask you a question because I know it's a thing of, you know, I know it's a thing of, you know, sometimes you just feel helpless when your friends go through this stuff. You know, Joan, Janessa, Daff. I've had so many people who called me up, and sometimes I could talk. G Rose, Michael Thompson, I owe him a call back. But so many people, when they see it, they call. I'm not big on talking. You know, I need time. You know, and then I'll get back to everybody because I know I'm not going to say anything. My boy Dimitri hit me up today, and you know, we were just on the phone, just, you know, his grandmama died today. And so I'm just like, man, dude. And this is the first time I've ever experienced this like this in my whole life.
The frequency.
The frequency of people leaving us, of people dying, whether it be suddenly or we know, you know, because there's there's an uptick in cancer. Um, yeah, I love you too, Janessa. Yeah, Joan said, because I saw something she said. Yes, indeed, my nephew died this year if a heart attack. Yeah, and we're still dealing with my young nephew being murdered. Yeah, you know, it is. Man, especially when they're young. I remember Joan, and I just felt like there was just nothing that I can do but just tell you I love you and I'm praying for you and I'm there if you need me. But
Your question.
Yeah, the question. When it's to that extent, you know, as a friend, like just like you said for your family, what can you do? Because there's not much that you can do. I know you're helpless in that. You know, like you've been tremendous in being there for me just by standing there and just okay, you know, and picking up the slack of what I'm not able to accomplish here at the spot. What do you think as far as, you know, your observation people should be focusing on when they're going through that, you know?
No. And I know it's gonna seem I'm a bit nonchalant, but I've been dealing with death since I was 3 and 4 years old. So not that it doesn't bother me, but you know, I understand death in a different way. Especially, I mean, I've almost lost my life, you know, multiple times. So my understanding of it is a bit different. The thing that I would tell anyone when people say offer a listening ear, actually be a sounding board. Just sit and listen. You know, whether someone's right or wrong or whatever it is that they're going through, if they're jumping off the walls in that moment, whatever it is, you know, you just give them the time. Give them space, give them time. When they're ready to talk, if they need to talk, just be present.
Mm-hmm.
Present.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do nothing else. Just be present. You know, humans are empathetic, so just feeling that there's someone there for you in that moment is everything. You know, for some people, that's the difference between life or death. You know.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we have built-in responses to certain things. You know what I mean? But for me, it's a little bit more when, you know, when you're a real friend and you listen to people, you know who is important in people's lives. So to me, there's a little bit more that needs to happen in a sense. You know, it's not just, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, condolences, I'm gonna pray for you. You know what I mean? I've taken it to the point I know how much this person means to you, and you know, and there's nothing that I can do, but you know, just know that I'm thinking of you, and if you need to talk, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a good friend is very perceptive, you know, on how certain things can hurt certain people, you know. Because I've had people who I had a friend one man in LA, he lost like 4 people in 1 week. It was like back to back to back to back to back to back, which is similar to me, although 2 of them were musical artists. Um, that energy was still there because you was there with me when I found out about Fleetwood, you know, Stevie McVie and
Both
Mark.
times, yeah.
And Mark. It was so it's one of those things, man, where it's like people always say, make sure you take care of you. What do you think that means? When they say take care of you, make sure you take care of you.
Taking care of yourself, just making sure that you're finding your balance and keeping whole.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people lose themselves in
Mm-hmm.
waves of emotion
Mm-hmm.
dealing with death, but it's just like anything else in this life, because death is a part of this life. You have to take the time to go and understand what death is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one thing that none of us will ever be able to sit and truly talk about is, what was your death like? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not in this lifetime. So that sure phenomenon means that you need to understand it before it happens,
Mm-hmm.
before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
So what I believe, or what I mean by that, celebrate these people while they're here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't take 10 years to reach out to someone. You know, don't do it the same way. You know, most rappers are not celebrated until after their death. You know,
yeah.
a lot of movie stars as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone has a tendency to champion someone once they're no longer here, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, excuse me, it's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Life is a very long time, but it's also short.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that being said, one of the things that Dick Gregory talks about, if you had $85,000 every single day for the rest of your life, how would you spend it?
Mm-hmm.
How would you spend it?
Me, it's gonna be on others that I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You would be up
Mm-hmm.
early more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
You
To
know,
take advantage of the
you'd
full
be
day.
you'd be where you needed to be, and so forth. There are
Mhm.
86,400 seconds in every single day. How are you spending it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, a few moments to reach out to the people that you know are on your heart don't cost you nothing.
Yeah.
So that same $85,000, although, you know, it'd be beautiful,
Mhm.
niggas ain't got that, but you got 86,400 seconds every single day.
Yeah,
Spend it properly.
Yeah. Daphne said the grieving, death is hard as fuck, but the grieving is even worse. Choice is always giving no matter what he goes through. Yeah, listen, man, like I said, I'm not, Nikki, was it you who said, yeah, my cousin and my other cousin, Keisha was like, yo, everything went off without a hitch. Like nobody went at nobody. And that, for my family, if you know anything about my family, man,
That's most families. Families are dysfunctional.
Yeah. And but I owe that to my cousins as well, because they were a very strong force in regards to everything. And my auntie, Adrian, who took care of my grandmother in her last days. And I love you for that, Adrian. God bless you, because we had to get her out of that home, and you did. So her last days were full of peace and joy, having you and the kids around her. So yeah, I'm gonna probably talk a little bit about Mark, man.
Sure.
Mark was my high school friend, and I always tell everybody he helped me get through high school. When you have that awkward phase and you're different, he never
Than
judged
most
me.
of the kids.
Yeah, he never judged me on being different. He was different. We, different people who were different, and it was weird. We started
The
out
divergents end up together.
yeah, and then at the end of it, we were the popular guys. That everybody was just like, "Where'd you guys come from?"
Because you guys were figuring yourselves out.
Oh man, I had the hottest date at the prom. This little Latin chick who used to live across the street, and nobody paid attention to her until after the prom. When I took her. And Mark was there that night, and he actually helped me go find a tuxedo and everything. We went getting our tuxedos together, and that guy, man, he helped me get through high school, man. He was just a loyal dude, loyal to a fault, which I never took fault in him, but just loyal, man. Just just there. We were. You don't know the film, but there's a film called Under the Cherry Moon. It's a
Definitely don't.
yeah, it's a Prince film, and he and I, that was one of our favorite films, because he was tricky and I was Christopher Tracy. So We played that. We played that a lot. We played these jokes on chicks. Oh man, that cat man. And he had the most infectious laugh. You know what I mean? Like he would just laugh and just blurt out in your face and loud and boisterous. Didn't care about didn't care about how I don't think he ever
He's
got
enjoying the moment.
yeah, man. And I mean we experienced a lot. We saw cats get stabbed. We saw Queen Latifah talking to chicks.
Funny.
We saw so much growing up in Tilden High School. And yeah, man, that cat, man. He's definitely gonna be missed. You know, it's been tough, man. I had to give my grandma her time, but then lately it's just been, you know, him.
Yeah.
You know, and then my God, but and it's wild. I was just talking about them on the Friend episode. I talked about Mark and I talked about Steven.
Yes, you did.
And then that happened, and so and he came and visited. He came and visited my class all the way to L.A. He came and visited my class, and he also came to see us when we did Black Lightning. That's when he met Joan. We did Black Lightning in Madison Square. I'm Times Square.
Times Square.
Yeah, and he came and he was limping. He had a little, leg injury. I'm like, what's going on with your leg, man? And he took the subway all the way from Brooklyn to Manhattan, man, and came and came both days that I was there. He came both days and walked all the way up and down with me, James, Sachiko. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jones said, realize that everyone grieves differently than you, and you have to be supportive appropriately. Some need lots of company while others need alone space. And by all means, avoid those damn cliches. Nobody wants to hear that shit. True indeed. True indeed. You know, yeah, I remember when Daphne was going through it really, really bad, man. She had a really rough year. She lost her mom and some other people in her life. And it's all you can do is all you can do, man. It's just, you know, I'm a big hugger, so when people lose people, I'm like there to hug, you know. But yeah, that was Mark, man. That was Mark, man. And, you know, throughout the years, the brother would still support me. I'd come to New York, he was there. You know, online, you know, we didn't see each other, but if we saw a post, you know, we post back and forth, and he supported all my actors. He supported all of them, you know. Is that not good, or is it?
The straw is hella short. My bad. I'm not. You know. I'm not. I'm not trying to bring all this attention. But shit.
Not at all, man. Please, you know. I mean, I'd be crying the rest of the show if I don't have something to take my mind off of it a little. So, anybody out there want to talk about what you're going through right now? Because I know I just saw today several people on my timeline. They lost a brother. One guy lost a brother. Another guy lost his dad. Another sister, she lost her mom or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I just stopped. I couldn't do it. You know. And cursed the alley. You know, and as soon as I saw that, it reminded me of Mark, because Mark and I, you know, Kirstie Alley had an album that she did with Prince, where she was Vanessa Bartholomew. And it's funny, I was just telling my brother and my mom about that song, because she calls up Prince. And she goes, hello, Prince? He goes, yes. And she goes, hi, this is Vanessa Bartholomew. He goes, okay. And she goes, if you don't mind, I'm taping it. And Prince hangs up. Click, click, ooh. She goes, son of a bitch hung up on me. And I was like, man, Kirstie Alley. So whenever I would hear that little interlude, and that was just recent. And then to see that she died at 71. 71 is young.
By today's standards, yeah.
But they changing that, ain't they?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so to see everybody on their timeline, like, man, Kirstie Alley, like, that's what I'm talking about these shocks, you know? It's very shocking to see what's happening. And how many days do we have left? You know, we have 25 days left in this year. It's like, man, please, let's just, God, like, just give us just a death break. Like, Just stop. Just for a second. Just stop. Like, don't want nothing. You know. And so, big thank you to Antonio because whenever we talk about topics and what we're going to talk about, we share back and forth. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And I told him, I said, I think there's a lot of people out there that need to, if you're just listening to what we're talking about, they need to talk about loss and grieving and death and how we're affected by it. Thank you. Back to you. Appreciate it. Shine by sunshine. Thank you for that. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Well, we're that's what this show is about. It's what it's always been about. It's what before we started it, it's funny. We both wanted to do a show, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm just going to do it. We're just going to do it." And here we are. This is show 27, I think. Yeah,
correct.
And we're going to be back here on Thursday night. We're back on our normal schedule now. And we're going to talk about the madness that's going on in the world. There's more madness. I mean, yeah, we're tonight talking about people who are leaving us, and the record amount of people that are leaving us across the different age groups. But Thursday we'll be back to talking about what's going on in the world. Do you know who won? If it was Herschel Walker or Warnock?
I don't pay attention to none of that bullshit, man. Them niggas been sending me text messages.
I know.
Months.
I was like, what? Like, I got one today. And there's this one commercial that I cannot stand. It's this commercial. It's a Warnock commercial, and it's a bunch of black people. And this one chick, man, I was just like, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, yeah, get off my screen. And it's crazy to watch to see how they've really brought it down to the level of it's black people that making the difference on that. You know what I mean?
They always do.
And it's like, we're not the only ones voting, but they've been making them black commercials, and they've been like,
But that's because where we are too, man. We're a majority of the demographic here in this state.
They've been making Herschel Walker out to be like Ike Turner. But the funny thing is people forgot that Warnock hit his wife with a car.
That's intense. A little bit.
That's some world star shit, ain't it?
That's a little intense.
I
he hit his wife with a car, and now he's running for office. Interesting.
Oh, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the laugh, Warnock. Appreciate that one. Yeah. I think once the ceremony is over, I was a pallbearer for my grandma's casket, which, that was an honor. I don't think they talked about it beforehand. They were like, "Oh, we need somebody to help carry the casket." I was like, "Okay," because I had asked. I was like, "Who's pallbearers?" I don't think they planned it. And of course, I was like, "Yeah, I'm step up." We didn't do the shoulder thing. We did the
download.
Yeah, and that's because
different heights.
Yeah, the guys at the funeral home, man, they were catch with M&Ms, man. So, literal M&Ms. But it was so nice to see what people said. I think I want to definitely on Thursday talk about that girl. Remember, I had let you hear the one that had
Which one?
The one her dad
son,
was supposedly was a Trump supporter, and she was doing that, talking about.
Oh yeah, the little one.
So good things to say, man. Good things to say. So, I think. What do you think about taking time away from others when that happens? Like, I know when you had came back, all the energy you had gave while you were gone, I could see. I was like, man, and then you had to fill yourself back up, right? Pretty much.
That's dependent on the person.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was just a day or two, and really it was just playing video games and shit. But that's me personally, so I can't say what that would be for others. I don't speculate. I don't think speculation is fair. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is that you need, don't go do crack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Please don't do heroin or nothing like that. But,
yeah.
Nigga, if you need your time, you know what I'm saying? You need your time to to recharge spiritually, you know, re-energize yourself, you know, take that time away. There's no shame in that. There are many different ways. That's why I'm not really just sitting here giving everybody, you know, you should do this, you should do that. You know, if that's if that is what you need in that moment, you know, based on everything that's going down, definitely take it.
Yeah.
No shame in that. And also don't be a slave to your job. If your job's not understanding, you know, you got the whole rest of your life ahead of you.
Yeah. Please know that at the 1 hour mark on my end,
Just 10 minutes.
The live will stop and be interrupted, but I will sign back in to start again. So make sure you find us if we get disconnected. But you're very right. I think a lot of times you have to be careful of the behavior that you have, where you know some people. You know, the drinking.
Yeah,
the
don't get caught up finding a reason not to be who you actually are.
Yeah. I've never, because I don't drink and I don't have any, you know, drug usage or anything like that. I've always, with death, I think the first person that I ever lost was one of my martial arts students, Travis Schiffner. Not Schiffner. Daly. Travis. Yeah, Travis Daly. He was a 16-year-old black belt, one of my black belts, and this was here in Augusta. He had gotten a car accident, and the car flipped upside down. And I'm not going to go into the graphic detail what happened to him, but that was the very first time that I lost someone very close to me. I mean, and then after that, it was just, okay, now you know what death is. Guess what? Here's an uncle here. Here's an uncle there. Here's, you know, a friend here. And, you know, and then I had to learn the process. That was very, very tough for me because especially I don't like seeing the body. I don't like it. You know, I had to see my grandma because my mom was, you know, I had to be with her, but I typically don't like seeing the body. I didn't look at my brother's body before they cremated him. I didn't want to see that. I'm very big on not wanting to see that stuff. I want to remember you as I remember you. You know,
so my grandfather is he will not go to funerals.
The wakes.
He refuses.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was tough seeing my grandmom like that, but she was, you know, they did a great job. You know. What boggles my mind is seeing people posted on Instagram and stuff of people in the hospital or people in the casket. I'm like, what are they doing? You know, I don't want to see that stuff. What do you guys think?
I'm about to change this.
Shine by Sunshine said, may God heal our brokenness and make room in our mind to think positive. Yeah, you know, and I think there's a point where
That's in your spirit.
It is. You have to go through. If you're a person that cries, you have to cry. You can't fight that. If you're a person that you need to curl up in the bed, you need to do it. If you know, and I think that people understand the mourning process. You know, some people do. It gets tough when you're a person in business because in business it just seems like lately people have been so insensitive, man. You know. Like, you know, it's been crazy. I got a call today. It was like, oh, well, yeah, you know, you're late. I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been meaning to call you to tell you, you know, I lost, you know, some family members. I lost people who I love. It's like, oh, so sorry for your loss. Okay, well, you know, the more you're late, it's like you're gonna get hit with these late fees. It was like, wow, bro. You know, God, man, thank you for being so insensitive. You know. Later Muse said, my grandma and great-grandmother died less than a month apart, and I didn't want to go to any more funerals. I don't blame you. I was in the middle of a play and just landed a role. I went, but it was a lot. I can only imagine. You know, you would hope that if something like that happens, you're playing a dramatic role where the tears just happen. You don't even have to think about it. And, you know, was it a dramatic role that you were playing in the play, or was it a musical? Or
yeah, it was this, you know, not inspiration, but did it translate well over into the role that you were playing?
Because some of our greatest actors and musicians
Comes from real moments.
yeah, and they're inspired by the situation that they went through. But that's got to be really really tough. My great grandmother died in my last year of high school. Mildred Pearson, my great grandmother. She was a very upstanding and strong woman, man. And I remember going to the hospital and seeing her. She had died from emphysema. And she was ready to get up out that bed, man. She, the nurse told her she's a bad girl. She's gonna want you to untie these restraints, take that tube out. Don't let her do it. One of those natives that you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, she's. When you look at her, you would think she was Native American. Yeah, and that was the hardest part of seeing her. Otherwise,
Well, your spirit ain't supposed to be attached to no machine, man.
Yeah. And she showing up with her eyes was telling me, untie this thing,
Because your life force is your life force, Ain't no machine that can replicate that or prolong it, or enhance it, rather.
Yeah. So I was like tempted to help her, but, then I would have to beat up some people to get her out because she was ready to go. She was ready to get up out of there. And, I wouldn't say her death was a tough death, but, she fought it to the very end. You know what I mean?
You said she was your great grandmother.
Yeah, I was 17, so I was blessed enough to have her that long. Some people don't have it. She died. She was 71, which is young. But my grandmother was 89. She was about to be 90. So I just want to send condolences to anyone who's lost anybody within this year. Let's just keep it to this year.
The last couple of years have been,
been shitty. Jermaine, there's not a day that doesn't go by. I don't think about my brother, man. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him. I'm a firm believer in heaven, so I know him, my grandma, all my uncles, and
where they need to be and doing well.
Tearing up heaven, man. I'm just happy that my grandmother will be with her husband, Willie Johnson, man. Who he was a character in himself, man. So she lived this whole time without him. That was a love affair. There was one. So, yeah. Okay. So I think we need to. We didn't do it at the opening of the show, but
I got it.
We're going to do the CMCT show info, and you guys are listening. I have 2 minutes left.
Excuse me.
But I'm going to open back up, so just make sure you find me.
I'll wait for yours to come back on.
Yeah. We mentioned holidays. Holidays is a way to make sure that we are showing love to those who are gone. That's why my auntie.
It's an excuse to do so, but every single day, when you feel it on your heart is the appropriate time.
Yeah.
That's something that's hasn't been maintained very well in our culture. Just a celebration of life, because we see it in all the media that pertains to us and our demographic. All we really see is death and violence, our music, all of those different things, man. We don't see a lot of celebration of our lives and our existence, our culture, our community. We don't see celebration of it at all. Especially not here in America specifically. I know around the world they're watching us on TV and thinking that every black person in America is this superstar, Chris Brown, and all this kind of shit. But we have regular lives, man, just like everybody else in the world, trying to figure it out and maintain and deal with punk ass taxes and punk ass governments.
Right.
And, take the time go ahead and celebrate, man. You know, you can create your own holidays. You already have your own excuse to show love to to those that you come from, and you create your own traditions. Or excuse me, you establish your own traditions. They're yours. It's got to start somewhere. You pass it down to your kids and let them know who it is that they come from. Make that a thing so that these people that you love so much, they don't get lost in time or with time.
Yeah.
But in any event, it's looking like it is about that time. So let me, what is it? Sharpen up my vocal cords, because I got something I want to share with you guys. A thing or two. Hold on, because my thing keeps tripping out on me. Nope, wrong one. Hold on. God damn it. All right, there we go. You back on one? Nope. I'll give it a moment. Mine's back up and running swell. My brother Marquise in the house. I didn't even see when his joint came on there. Hello and welcome.
Welcome, Marquise.
Well, this is a sensitive time here on Earth. And sensitive times call for drastic measures. I personally think that it is very drastic to do so because I don't answer DMs or none of that shit because I'm not good at text messaging. But he might do it. So, in the event that you wanted to reach out to us during these sensitive times, offline and off air, you can find us on Instagram at CMCT Show, or excuse me, CMCT_show on Instagram. Again, that is CMCT_show. If you wanted to catch us on Facebook, we do have a professional Facebook page we are slowly contributing to, and that is at CMCT Show on Facebook. We also have a Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking page on Facebook. Consolidating those or letting them run? Letting them run. All right. You can find us on YouTube.
I'm sorry, blanked out. See,
Nah,
that's
you
what I'm talking
straight.
about. I have these moments.
We're on YouTube live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you guys wanted to help us migrate over there, because having these 5, 6, 7, 8 phones up in this mug, cameras and shit set up is getting a little old, and you could definitely lessen our workload.
Yeah. And YouTube pays us. So
Yes, YouTube pays us a lot more. So if you want to help us get those views up, like, share, comment, and subscribe. But that YouTube is CMCT_show. We're also on Twitter. I'm running out of words that start with T and W. So why don't you go ahead and tweet us some of those words that begin with T and W so that I can keep this joke running. I appreciate it. But that Twitter is CMCT_show, at CMCT_show. One more time, at CMCT_show. Follow us, please and thank you. You can email us grievances, opinions, ideas, sponsorships, business opportunities, all of that kind of shit. Pictures, whatever. You can email us at cmctshow@gmail.com. We greatly appreciate your input and your contributions. We're also on TikTok. We got a video up there. You know what I'm saying?
Videos.
Oh, we got a couple videos up there. You know what I mean?
Legit.
Yeah,
now.
it's finally kicking up steam. So if you wanted to catch us on TikTok, you can find us on there as CMCT_show. Again, that is on TikTok at CMCT_show. Now, the most important part of this would this be a broadcast? Of this PSA.
No, you're right. Yeah.
The most important part of this PSA is our link tree. If you go to linktree.com and you scroll down to the bottom, because those fucking idiots move their search box to the bottom of the page, which makes no goddamn sense. I hope they're listening. somewhere in this AI, I know they're recording and snitching on me. So let me say again, if you go to linktree.com, for some reason, those fucking idiots moved their search box down to the bottom of the page, because that's where everybody looks for the search box at. Type in that search box, CMCT_show, and you'll find our Linktree page. Right there at the top, you will find a tipping mechanism doohickey. You know what I'm saying? You can go on there and get hornswoggled and sending us a couple of dollars to keep these blue lights on behind us.
Shout out to Claudia Chin. Shout out
You know
to
what I'm
John
saying?
Logan.
These lights is hot as shit, and they also cost money to keep on. So, again, get hornswoggled into that, if you will. We really appreciate it. But under that tipping mechanism...
Hornswoggled.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've been reading. You feel me? I'm a bit scholarly when I feel like it, but in any event... You can go ahead and the next option on our Linktree page is actually some of the services that we offer. Okay? The first option is a $20 option, wherein we will record for you at your preference and with as many details as you provide us. Please don't get weird, because I'll send that shit right back to you. But a 2-minute video, all right, for $20. If you need us, to inspire someone that you know personally, you think we can motivate them, or even for self, take your time and write out the details, and we'll definitely get that together and send it off to you. Feel free to post it on Instagram and tag us. TikTok as well, because, nigga, we need content. You know what I'm saying? Nextly, our second option would be our venting consultation, because we are not therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, or none of that shit, to avoid lawsuits. Because, nigga, we ain't got the money. So you can sue us if you want to. But nah, seriously, the venting consultations are $59 an hour right now, all the way up until January 1st. That is the holiday discount, $59 an hour. Call us and talk to us. We will do our best to help you find a solution to whatever it is that you're going through. And if you don't want a solution and really you just need someone to talk to and understand and hear you out, we're willing to do that too. After the holidays are over, the holiday season, New Year's, that price will be jumping back up to $100 an hour. So go ahead and book a session right now before January 1st. Get that nice discount. You know what I'm saying? Lastly, our third option is just we're also offering pre-recorded interviews. We can do a live interview if you want, but we're offering pre-recorded interviews so that the post-production can be to your liking. We do any sort of video edits. If you want a freaking virtual Viking cap in your interview, you know what I'm saying? We can do that for you. It's a 20-minute interview, and that's cost $75 pre-recorded so that we can get it exactly how you want the world to see you. And finally, check this out. If you didn't know, you know now. After I say it, my brother has an Instagram.
Yay.
And that is at Darkon2000. That is DARKAN, the number 2000. He also has a Twitter at DarkonENT. That is at DARKANENT. Follow him on both of those platforms. Nextly, and lastly, you know what I'm saying? I have an Instagram. Some of you are watching me live right now. And that Instagram is at _dosage. At _dosage on Instagram. Go ahead and follow me. I also have a music page on Instagram. And that is at _MA. I'm going to let you guys in on a quick secret before we move on. Unfortunately, I did have a December 24th, Christmas Eve release date. And I'm not going to say anything bad about the young man, but unfortunately, we've severed ties.
No.
My producer is no longer my producer.
Wow.
So, the project is gonna have to be pushed back more than likely. I'm still projecting for Christmas Eve. And that project name is called Poison. You can find me on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, TikTok, any of that other shit, at The Dosage. Go ahead and listen to some of the music that I have up there. The last project that I dropped is called Get At It, and it is actually a compilation of all of my oldest songs that I felt were really good. I got some features on there with some of my friends from high school, some features on there from my cousin, Michael, who I mentioned earlier, the gentleman who celebrates the lives of his lost ones with his children as holidays. You know, they celebrate the life of those people, but he's on there, and you know, we did some really good music back then with what we had
It's pretty good
in
though.
hand.
It's
You
pretty
know,
good.
so but yeah, so the new album rather, it may be pushed back, but know that it is on its way. I just gotta get a better producer. So if you guys know any producers, you know, I'm willing to pay my way, goddammit. Send them this way. Please and thank you. Thank you all for listening. That is the end of the public service announcement for CMCT show info.
Yeah, and guys, you know we have to do that primarily because it's very important for followership and viewership.
Correct.
For us in order to grow as a brand. As a brand.
Our commercialship has to be tight.
It has to.
And I gotta say, I'm doing quite well.
Yeah, he's really good with it. He's got the voice for it. But, you know, he's an artist, so that's part of why it's like that. Big shout out to Moika, my cousin. She added us on YouTube, so we got to follow her. Yay.
Greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm ringing the bell. Ding, 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 ding. So.
Yeah, so if y'all was watching us on YouTube instead of these side cameras, we could hit something on this roadcaster, baby. You know what I'm saying? And get
really
some
celebrate.
sound effects and all kind of silly shit that people like when they're watching podcasts. So really, and I don't want to pass the buck and put it on them, but you guys might be stifling us a little bit. I'm just saying. You might be messing up your own experience because you could be having sound effects and shit jumping off right now. Fireworks, whatever.
No doubt.
Literally jumping through the screen on YouTube. But we haven't employed that just yet because y'all ain't there. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and help us migrate over to YouTube in a timely fashion. Thank you.
Flomaine, shout out to you. Love 117, shout out to you. And Moika, my cousin, said, I got y'all on all my devices.
Come on, baby.
No problem.
Let it be known.
Now,
Type that in the comments
my cousin's
again.
Ride or die. She's definitely ride or die.
Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing her that time that I had to go and say goodbye to Grandma. But what do you think was your toughest death? Let's get a little personal here.
Toughest death.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I've been celebrating the lives. You know, I don't even consider it to be death.
Right. Or lost. You know?
I'll say this because I talked about this on the show before. But my brain injury, you know, and I thought of it as a loss for a long time, but I lost who I was. You know, I'd completely forgot a majority of my childhood. I'd forgot a majority of the first about 19 years of my life in general. And that crash happened when I was 20 years old. But, you know, I was lost. I couldn't figure it out. And I felt that I lost that person. And for years, up until about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's been 8 years since the crash, but, you know, I chased who I remembered that person to be.
Yeah, I remember you saying
You
that.
know, I chased that person feverishly, and it was very hard to let go of the idea that I was not that person anymore. You know, so that was more of a psychological death. You know, for me. So I would say that was honestly because I don't, you know, I celebrate life. I don't really think about death as death. So, but that was a death of sorts, and it was psychological, and it was a very much so an uphill battle for me. And I finally let it go and stepped into who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, you know. For me, I can definitely say it was my brother, and that's on par with Prince because of all of the different things that I've experienced throughout. This guy had an album every year, sometimes 2 in 1 year. if you were into the bootlegs. Mark used to do this thing called digging in the crate.
Digging in the crate.
And he would hit up specific people with a link of a different song. It wasn't always Prince. I mean, Prince was the majority, but he would hit us with some old songs, man, and remind us that we are black, and that we have some power in what we do as artists. You know what I mean? Because he was always looking for a way to work with me, and especially as time went on by. Jones said, "Okay, thanks, Antonio. I gotta get on it with tech stuff, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. I hear you. Thumbs up."
We appreciate that. Yeah. Take your time.
My other auntie said, she's like, he goes through everything with, I was like, yeah, he's smooth with it.
I appreciate that. I'm getting better.
Yeah. So those were tough. I mean, not that it takes away anything from these current ones that we're all experiencing. It's just,
yeah.
I just wanted to ease. I mean, I do understand it is a part of life. Death is a part of life. I get it. But man, dude, it's just like.
Well, just that looking at anything differently. I'm just offering a different perspective. Mm-hmm. When I speak about it the way that I speak about it, because I've shared with you stories about my family members, and I speak about all of them like they're still alive, because that's how the stories were given to me. Yeah. My mom is an excellent storyteller, and in a roundabout way, I haven't even said this to her, but she's essentially the historian of our family. Mm-hmm. So the way that she always told the stories, man, these people are larger than life. They're so much larger than life. You forget that they're not around. Mm-hmm. And that's the same way that I tell those stories. If you anyone who knows me, when I get to talking about my family, man, at some point people always ask me, man, so are they, that person clearly is obviously still alive, or when's the last time you talked to them? What are they doing nowadays? And it's like, nigga, that was my great grandfather or great grandfather, and so forth, but that's how I believe that is how humans should better deal with the idea of death. These stories are super important, Those people's legacies are so important. I could talk for hours about the people that raised my mother and who raised them, because of how well my mom ensured that she passed on those stories. So if that's something that you're not doing in your family, it used to be a part of our existence, a part of our culture to have a family historian, and when I say family, I mean all of the important figures in your family's history in general, because I'm talking about family, friends, and people in the neighborhood, the general community. I got so many different branches of characters, just based on all of those things that were shared with me, and then because of how important those things were to my mom and how she shared them, I have my own web of characters, from since I left home, and I love sharing those stories with people, man. It's history. Yeah. It's history, and it's one of the best way to keep these people's energy present and appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of times when it seems so hopeless in a sense,
yeah.
or so what do we do now? Because that's what loss can bring you. Loss can bring you a sense of hopelessness and not knowing which direction to go. You're already going in a direction. Keep going in that direction.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned. Like for me, like I said, these past couple of days, it's just been okay. I took care of what I needed to take care of in Atlanta on Friday and Thursday and Friday, and I came back on Friday night and okay, what needs to be done, and then but honestly, man, sometimes no matter how strong you are, You know, if it was one person, maybe two people, but man, you know, in a sense, four for me, and then now five because of Steven. It was just like, I think that's why I got into that kind of like coma trance yesterday, because I was just like, what the hell's going on, you know? And you're wondering, okay, like, all right, well, because I've always believed that with life you're building to leave your legacy. You know what I mean? Like some people leave their legacy with children, some people leave their legacy with the different effects that they have in their community and stuff like that. You know, for me as an artist, I'm leaving my legacy with who I've trained in martial arts or what movie I've created. And I've always been big on that. I've always known that that was the way for me.
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
what that is your legacy. You're looking for people who will honestly tell your story someday.
Mm-hmm.
Is all that is.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna come across. There's gonna be a lot of people who like, man, that nigga was an asshole,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's gonna be those people, man, who they absolutely cherish you and wish that they could have or create another moment with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's looking for, not looking for, but you know, going through life and putting out good energy, or energy so good that someone's gonna tell your story. Many people will tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about who you are and what you were, what you meant to them.
Yeah.
You know,
We're not gonna be able to see our funerals.
no, that's what, that's what I told niggas,
That's what
man.
we
You
said.
drop me and dip me in the river or something, man. Don't even waste the fucking money. You know.
Well, what is your? I mean, not to sound morbid, I know. Listen, for me, my mom and I, and it was so wild because last year when my brother passed, of course, you're always limited on funds. And shout out to everybody that, you know, helped me with the
Chipped in
GoFundMe.
and shit,
Oh
yeah.
man, because you know it was sudden. It was sudden, and you know, so he didn't really. Oh, by the way, this another PSA, guys. Make sure you have some burial insurance. If you
Yeah.
can't get a life insurance policy,
It's cheap. It's usually
It's
roughly
very affordable.
under $20 a month.
very affordable to have burial insurance, which would be the thing to take care of. I'm a big advocate of it after my brother passing. Burial insurance, so that way, with last wishes, you can just put in a shoebox the different things you know the music you want played. I have a death CD. This is the music I want you to play.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? My mom and I, we decided we're going to be trees.
Yeah.
So they,
You
you know,
tell me
the
that.
Egyptians used to have these sarcophaguses that they buried along with a seed, and the seed, as the tree planted, the seed would feed on the sarcophagus.
Giving life back to the earth.
Yes, absolutely. And so the only thing I'm down about is dogs pissing on me. But hey, you know, that's part of the process. You know.
100% a part of the process.
Yeah. My cousin said also some jobs might have it in your health insurance company and policy.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Some credit cards also. You know, there's so many things in your life that you probably already have access to, and just one of them things, you know, we don't read the fine print, and you could be missing out on something that's probably already available to you.
Absolutely, because people don't want to think about that time. They don't want to think about it. You know, and I think it's important that you take that time. Maybe these are moments that when they happen, they remind you that you have to think about that. I've always had a will. I'm consistent on my will of changing it up sometimes.
Now,
you know?
if I could drop a little bit of financial advice, if you wanted to skip burial insurance altogether, because at the end of the day, cremation is more than enough. I know, you know, a lot of people might not want to hear that, but funerals are for the living. They're not for the dead. You know, how you celebrate the person afterwards is 100% up to you, but you'll be able to afford even more than just your memorial service for this person after they're gone if you go ahead and get life insurance. Life insurance is 100% worth it, you know, especially for our community, man. This is one of the ways the regular white families become rich.
Right, because they take it and it matures. The
$100,000, $500,000 for depending on how young, we talking about millions of dollars because you never know. Like you say you use the word sudden, but I say that it's not predictable unless you smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? That's a little predictable, nigga. It might not last long, but death is unpredictable. So the younger the person is, the cheaper the life insurance policy. There's nothing wrong, and that's not preying on anybody. That's not foreshadowing their death, but it's
being smart.
It's being smart. 100% being smart. The burden of funerals and debt and all of those different things should not be on the living. So if you wanted to go ahead and bypass the burial insurance altogether, get a life insurance policy. Right. Everything else will pay for itself at that point.
Right. So
it's a little more costly. But
well, yeah, and that's why I mentioned, because a lot of times a lot of people can't get the life insurance because they will.
Well, they might be too old, or they may have had their prior health issues can contribute to that as well. But look, if you eating out, and I don't want to, again, that's why I said small financial advice, and we'll move on. But if you're one of those people, man, you're eating out and wasting money on fashion or whatever it is, set some of that money aside. Pay for a good life insurance policy for someone that you care about.
It is a burden. It really is. It really is. My cousin said I was just telling Uncle Reggie about the tree. So no doubt. I mean, my grandma was very big on being buried and the ceremony and stuff, and she was very big on that. It was supposed to have some doves. I guess they couldn't get it.
Listen, baby, you know what I'm saying?
The doves weren't available, but
and that's okay.
Yeah, right. But Jones said cremation is the way I want to leave here. I love the ocean, so sprinkle me out there.
Put me out there.
Oh, okay. Check it out. Sprinkle. This is really cool. She said, "I love the ocean, so sprinkle me out there to mingle with my ocean sisters." No doubt. Moika said, "David and I are going to do that as well in hopes to buy our house and to be able to have a place for our kids to be able to visit and not be able to sell the house." Yep, because they sell the house, you own the property, and they lose the opportunity to come in and visit you. So yeah, absolutely, that's what I want to do. The final skin of residence, to be able to have the trees set up and you know what I mean. So it's very big. That I know it's a scary thing. My godbrother talks all the time about his daughter. He talks to his son JoJo. And JoJo's a little more receptive, but his daughter's like, I don't want to listen. I don't want to talk about it. And he says, you have to talk about it.
You have to.
You have to.
Because again, it is a part of life. You're not talking about it is not forcing someone to deal with it in any manner of any sort. But talking about it is a path to acceptance and understanding. Again, like I said earlier, it is something to be understood. Because we'll never be able to sit and talk about how we all died together. You know what I mean? So approach it before it's too late. Talk about it with people that you care about. And, I believe it gives you better footing to discuss what it is that you guys will be doing in life together. Because you never know. Truly never know.
Yeah. But a vapor here today, gone tomorrow, as Paul said. We don't know. And it's important to have a living trust and a will as well. Because
ensure that your loved ones, whoever it is that you want in control of it, ensure that all of your assets don't go back to the fucking state. Okay? That's what it comes down to, asset protection. Okay?
And then you don't want family members or friends fighting over the things you leave behind. So you have to be very clear and concise in that. And you have to be like, I literally need to update my stuff. I do at least once a year. I update. And it's important because, you gain new assets and you lose assets.
And if you don't know what trusts are or any of those things, I have an excellent free resource that my financial mentor put together. I'm gonna upload it to Google Drive and just contact me, and I'll send you the link. You can download it, watch it, study it. You know, go and figure out how to create those things for yourself and for your family, more importantly.
Because it is very tough, and it is.
If you go looking around online and locally, motherfuckers gonna be trying to make you pay an arm and a leg just to get something established that you can do for free right at home. And you go to the notary, getting something notarized is typically $10 to $15. So again, if that is something that you'd like to learn about, go ahead and reach out to me. I will answer your inbox if it's about something serious. Reach out to me, and I'll get that information uploaded to Google Drive so that you can, you know, set yourself up for success, set your family up for success.
Yeah, because it lets the people you leave behind know exactly what your thoughts were. Because if we have to guess, that can be very painful for some people because, you know, they don't know for sure exactly where your mind was at, you know, in regards to, you know, what your last wishes were. And that's very important. You know, you can save a lot of heartache to the family by being concise on what you want. You know, Chadwick Boseman, when he died, he didn't have a will. And it went into probate. But just recently, I think his wife got 1.5, his family got 1.5. Yeah, they kind of like divvied it out. But they all, the way they worked it out, it's like they all got 1.5 or something like that. And it could have been easily...
That's a fight that could have been avoided.
Way avoided. So, you know, all of you guys listening, make sure you have that situated so that way you know, you're not causing any undue stress because it is very stressful. I mean, when I buried my brother, man, there was a lot that went into that, and it's stressful. It's very stressful. But you know, they did pretty good on my grandma, so you know, it was well done. So all right. So why does it hurt when we lose a celebrity and or someone who is not directly a family member? What do you think? Why does that hurt?
I don't share the same sentiments as most people, so I can't really speak from a personal point. But as someone who studies psychology and strives to understand these things about humans, you know, humans are empathetic. Again, that's almost always what things will come down to with the human condition. We're very empathetic. We're very... I won't say it that way. We're very empathetic, and we have a tendency to attach to things that we resonate with the most, things and people, right? So these figures who are larger than life, and they define eras for us, they define moments for us. You know, it'll hurt to see them leave, or it'll hurt to know that you'll no longer be receiving, you know, new music or new movies or whatever it is from them, new books, you know, for some people who enjoy authors. And that's really all that is, man. It's just another attachment. It's another facet of life. You know, you're losing something that has helped define and explain you in this lifetime, right? So a perfect example, and I'm so sad about it every time I think of, not sad, but you know, I feel bad for him every time I think about it. Patrice O'Neal, you know, that was my guy, man, and I'm not sad, you know, it's unfortunate he's not here, but it doesn't do me like this, but it hit Eric like this. I was sending Eric some of the old podcast clips and shit of Patrice O'Neal, and he started taking to him. He's like, man, like, you know, this dude makes a lot of sense, man. Great philosopher and all of this shit. And so he texts me one day. He goes, man, he said, all right, bro, this is what we gonna do, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get our shit together. We, you know, we building and whoop-de-whoop. He's like, man, we gonna get on this show. I said, Eric, I hate, you know what I'm saying? I hate to tell you, man, but
He's not with us.
Patrice
no more.
been gone since 2012, baby. You know what I'm saying? And he said, Eric was heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I hated that moment for him, you know, because I understood the attachment.
Mm-hmm.
I understood the appreciation for that person, you know. Deep reverence for men like Patrice O'Neal and Dick Gregory and, you know, so forth. I could name a million names, but that's all that is just, you know, you have such a deep appreciation for how they've helped you develop your perspective in this life. And
through specific times.
Now they're not available for times that may be unexplainable for you, that may be, you know, you need better understanding. You're like, damn, I was leaning on this person because they got my mind in a sense, you know. So
with actors and on musical artists that leave us, they define the chapters of our life. You know, Christine McVie, who was one of the writers and singers of Fleetwood Mac. For me, my Christine McVie story was basically that I had been planning on one day seeing the Fleetwood Mac, you know, and when they broke up, they decided they were never going to play together ever again. And of course, that money start calling you. So the band got together and they decided they were going to play all these years later, but they were playing without Christine McVie because she had a deathly horrible fear of flying. She could not fly.
yeah,
And one of my friends, who was a Bojuka student, Brian Bloom, for my birthday, and you know, it's wild because some of my best birthday gifts were concerts. Like Daphne and Vanessa, some friends of mine, had got me concert tickets to see Janet Jackson. You know, I love Janet Jackson, so they got me one to see at the
as
bowl.
you should.
I love
You know
Janet.
what I'm saying?
And so, I'm doing this Bojuka training session with him, and the conversation happens. It slips up. My birthday's coming up. Oh, your birthday? Okay. Well, you know, we just saw Fleetwood Mac. Blah blah blah. Oh, okay. And you know, he's a rockhead. I'm a rockhead. So I was like, yeah. Wow, you saw Fleetwood Mac? He's like, yeah. Well, you know, the band is coming to L.A. and although we didn't get to see Christine McVie because she, you know, doesn't like to fly, you know that, she's going to be with the band in this time. I was like, what? I was like, oh, that's cool. So he pulls out his phone, he goes, all right, so I can give you 2 tickets up here or 1 ticket on the floor. He's like, 2 tickets, you can take somebody, 1 you by yourself. I said, I'm gonna be by myself on this one. So the reason why it's important for you guys to understand the story is because when you talk about the profound effect that you can have as a human being on so many other people. When I got to this concert, there were kids at the age of 10 years old with their grandparents who were 76.
Creating a moment.
On the floor. All these different generations of people, and they were amazing, and the group sounded just as good as any other day. And I was blessed because after that, she didn't tour with them anymore. And so I got to see Fleetwood Mac as a full band by themselves.
That was a historical moment.
It was very historical. And so that's why losing her was very big to me, because that moment, you know, it was a great birthday gift. He didn't have to do it. No one ever has to do anything for you. Everything that anyone does for you is by grace. Usually it's a gift of love, or by, you know, people wanting you to do better and have better. And he gave that to me. And I'll never forget it. So when she died, I hit him up and I said, yo, Christine's gone. He was like, I saw her, brother. You know. The reason why it is tough for us when it comes to musical artists and or actors like Kirstie Alley, a lot of people like, look who's talking. You know, she did all these different movies. Cheers.
Oh, then I do know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look who's talking and Look Who's Talking.
Yeah. Those movies were fun.
All the sequels were not good, but, you know, it is what it is.
Well, you know, that whole thing with like Irene Cara, she was one of my first.
Now she's
crushes.
one of my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
She was in Roots, man. And she did a hell of a good job.
Yes,
in
she
Roots.
did. Yes, she did.
And hell of a singer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just an artist in general. And her philanthropy. You know, I know a little bit about her because I had heard a line about her in a Mac Dre song actually. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wonder who that is. You know, I'm astute, and I was like, I already knew who this was, and didn't know. You know, you didn't know that I even knew who she was. But
Puerto Rican mama.
yeah, you know, she was a hell of a person, and you know, in her time in the planet, man, and she contributed as much as she could. You know,
Beautiful voice, and I liked her a lot
I use the
because
bathroom.
of, oh yeah, help yourself, man. I liked her a lot because of her. Yeah, absolutely. Janessa said, "I will never get over Whitney's passing, like ever. Makes my stomach hurt thinking about it." Yeah, that was a tough one. I had
Beautiful spirit, man.
yeah, I have a friend, Earl Miller.
Talking about
man.
Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah, and he loved Whitney, and yeah, when Kobe passed, I was surprised at how distraught I was. I'm still confused about why I was so heartbroken. Yeah, you know, I loved Kobe. I loved him a lot, man. I think it was dark time in L.A. when he had passed. I'll never forget that, man. It was like, wow, you know, when we lose these people, whether they're family members and or musicians, and for some people it's even politicians, which I could care less about. But I think they always talk about this song called "The Day the Music Died," when JFK, Martin Luther King, and Robert F. Kennedy, they all died like back to back to back. Marilyn Monroe. It was like the innocence of America went away when that happened. So sometimes it can be on a national status or a global status where one person or two people or three people, when they die, we're all affected by it. Still to this day, I know they just had Chadwick Boseman's birthday just recently, and people were posting about Chadwick Boseman, and it was like, man, it's so wild how he affected so many people to that extent, to where they're still, posting, he was gone. Of course, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and all these people who had contributed so much, and we have to keep in mind, when you're listening to a song or you're watching an interview, that this person, if they're still alive, like Lady Muse said, give them your flowers. Give them their flowers while they're alive. Don't wait until they're gone. I think my last interaction with Mark on Facebook was 4 days before he passed. He had commented, and I commented back, and he was so supportive. Oh God, he would share everything. I know he had just recently shared something that I had posted about a new life. He had just recently shared it, and would say, "Yo, check out my brother's stuff. Y'all support independent filmmakers." And I know he shared some of the actor stuff. Joan, did he share something you had before? Because anytime Black Lightning, he would always just share all of that. I'm gonna miss you, Mark. Yeah, I think this having this conversation has helped me some. I still got a lot of mourning that I'm going to go through. Hopefully, less days of me blanking out, and I don't need that to happen, especially when I'm driving. I need to be focused. But I know if I can make it through this month, then going into the new year, I have a lot of new promise, and just the thoughts of making sure that whatever we do it in the memory of those that we love. Yes, he was always there for me and James. Yeah, my boy Mark. Yes, Joan, he was, and it's just yeah, you just you think of things, and you just take it as it is. You take it as it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'm very close to the point where I don't really want to talk too much more.
I mean, that's listen, nigga, it's 9:44. So in a roundabout way, we got about 10 minutes left. I missed what was said when I was in the bathroom, of course, but dealing with all of these things, I'm gonna reiterate. I actually want to make 2 points. I always think it's very important. I'm gonna call this the most important point. And that is these people that you love, these people that you care about, you know, show your children how to appreciate them while they're alive. You know, if you're thinking about that person, especially today in the age of technology, it's so easy to reach out to them, send them a message, share a silly picture or whatever it is, you know, but make contact with these people. Don't wait until you don't have the opportunity anymore, you know. Teach your children to be forthright about that, to be forthcoming about that, to be, you know, immediate about those things. That's number one. But number two, and really it's still a part of the same point, but show them. You know, again, you know, the way that my cousin does that, man, that's been sitting with me for the last, it's been about 9 years, the first time he told me that. It's like, nigga, we celebrate her life. You know, their mother, that is. She passed when they were really young. And then upon that idea, he's like, well, you know, nigga, we love our grandma and shit too. You know, so well, we gonna celebrate her birthday and create our own traditions. You know, fuck these holidays or whatever, however it is that you approach that, but celebrate these people's lives is what I'm saying. You can make these people are so important to you. Why not make them your holiday? You know, why not make that pizza day or you know once a year, gumbo day or you know because I know that they do gumbo for their grandmother. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's gumbo day. Them kids can't wait for gumbo day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? One of his sons is in the army now, mm-hmm. and he comes home for gumbo day. You know, mm-hmm. if you're in the military, you know how much of a thing that is to take leave and go all the way home because nigga, it's grandma's birthday. That's gumbo day essentially. You know, and they sit and share stories about her and again celebrate her life. You know, so come up with different ways. You know, these they're not physically in this realm anymore, but doesn't mean that the thought of them and the memories of them have to be gone. You can keep them alive. Mm-hmm. You know, make it important. Make it important to your children. You know, that's my mom. We didn't necessarily do the holiday thing or you know, celebration of their birthday, so to speak, but her way was just being the family historian. Passing these stories down, you know, we'll have a show one day, man. I would love to tell the stories about my family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just that's what keeps them alive. Mm-hmm. You know, so if they mean something to you, make sure that they actually do. Mm-hmm. You know, tell their stories. Tell their stories and make sure that your children, your offspring, you know, let the world know how important they were. That's my advice.
Yeah. Thank you for it. On our way out, I just want to give my last goodbyes to those who I love.
Sure.
Irene Cara, rest in peace. Thank you for your beautiful voice and your contribution to the world. Eva Mae Lucille Johnson, my grandmother, thank you for helping me to find Christ and being who you was in the life of so many. Christine McD, Fleetwood Mac, thank you for all that you've left behind that people are going to be experiencing to the end of time. And Mark Cunningham, thank you for being an amazing friend. Stephen Tingus, we will miss you, but you left a legacy in regards to all that you've accomplished. And my condolences and well wishes to anyone out there dealing with the loss of a loved one or a friend or just dealing with loss, period, this year. And God bless you all.
Great. Yeah. Well, everybody, please catch back up with us on Thursday. And until then, have a really good week. Love those people that you love and let them know that you love them, even if you ain't speaking to them.
Yeah.
I love you, know, fuck you, but I love you. Send them, you know what I'm saying? Shoot them a text message. You know, still let them know.
We got some work to do, right? That's what that's saying.
Plain and simple. Yeah. Plain and simple. Still let them know. All right. So y'all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Right.
That's because you're a G.
Muscles on his lonely pack. I stay calm and fat. I've been on the grind so long, hoes could never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of whack. Keep throwing darts and wax.
You got that bag?
Note you, every beat got a
tossed
birthday. I just make it special.
bag?
If you came to wrestle, well, maybe we can do
Wendy's
that.
bag?
Have and break the doses and show you where your shoes at.
Yeah. Are you done with it, or?
I ain't gotta prove stats. I don't need the hookup. I've been staying blue black, straight from where the news at. Life size.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Story I survived. Made a lot of most there. Painting what I wrote now. I imagine it. I'm a broken canvas. Every stroke is passionate. Ask him why he's smashing shit.
Bigger. Look at this.
I'm just practicing. So I
Man,
can
listen.
get it in when it's out. Ain't no accidents for real. Absolutely. Please stop the BS. For real is on purpose. For real. Everything I do this for real. Every single time. I do this for real. Please stop the BS. For real is on purpose. For real. Everything I do this for real. Every single time. I do this for real.